All right, family, thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Welcome to Commitments Radio, the show that provides hope, healing, and help for relationships. We're building stronger and healthier relationships, one conversation at a time. Here's my disclaimer. Opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily the opinions of this radio station, its owners, affiliates, or advertisers. Opinions expressed by the guests are absolutely not the opinions of the host, radio station owners, affiliates, or any advertisers on the radio station or Commitments Radio. All right, we have a sponsor today. It is the Engaged Dad Children's Book Series. Children don't need a dad, don't need dads who are just present. They need dads who are engaged. Pick up your copy of Pancake Dad or Ice Cream Dad and be inspired by a dad who puts down his phone, remote control, and gaming device and lifts up his kids. Buy your copy on Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, or at dadsoffaith.com. All right, family, we are back again. Continuation. I put the to be continued thing on our last show so we can pick up where we left off. But we're having good conversation here about America being in a leadership deficit. So listen, there's an article that was written, and it was actually written February 27th, 2025. The key points of the article is that American political leadership is in decline, characterized by self-interest and a lack of mutual respect. George Washington, with his commitment to unselfish service and mutual respect, is an example of the leadership that America needs. Individuals can make a difference by promoting mutual respect and focusing on solutions rather than blame. Universities should prioritize teaching students to be leaders who value mutual respect and service to others. So, Bishop, I found this to be really interesting that this article was written, and you and I talked last week about respect and the fact that it's missing in our discourse these days. So Bishop, is respect the big elephant in the room? Is that the one thing that can correct this leadership deficit that we have in America?
I think it's essential.
Hmm.
I think there are other elements of it that are equally or just as important, but that's certainly one because it seems to be at this point in time the American, and I say American in quotes,
Hmm.
um, the American psychic seems to suggest the more disrespectful you are, the more capable you are of leading.
Hmm.
And uh, foreign policy. The more disrespectful I am to my foreign policy components or agents that we work with other countries,
Hmm.
the more impression it gives that I'm more powerful because I'm more disrespectful.
Hmm.
And so somehow disrespect has sort of entered into the realm of being an interesting element of what leadership is about. And I think that's a grave error.
Bishop, did that start with Trump?
Um, I would say that he certainly um, pronounced it or presented it a lot more boldly than others did in the past.
Hmm. So in the past it was a lot more subtle, but he has just kind of come into a place where he made it normal. He almost normalized it.
Yes, and I think to a large degree, um, he obviously learned it from someone else.
Hmm.
Maybe that's the way his family was, or his community, or maybe that's the way he got respect. But this element of I would call it bully leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think America is the right place for bully leadership. I'm not sure any place is. I've certainly, in my years of living on the continent of Africa, seen a lot of examples of bully leadership,
Hmm.
and so I just don't think it's the model for America.
But here's what's interesting about that though. So we're talking about respect. We're talking about America being in a leadership deficit, and we're talking to Bishop Robert H. Kelley III, who is a political, a humanitarian, a financial advisor in a number of different settings. But the funny thing about this, Bishop, is Trump is a student. He studied the political landscape, the business landscape for a number of years before he ventured into it. A lot of people talk about what got him into it was the escalator ride, down, and what Obama said to him at the correspondence dinner. I don't think that's what it was. I think what got him into it is he studied it and looked for the right time. What does that say about us as a country that this man was opportunistic and found us at a place where bully politics or bully tactics work? What did he see?
Well, that's a little difficult to say. I've never been on the inside of his political strategy or mindset,
Sure.
but I think he did happen to capitalize on the fact that the American political process is more of a beauty queen or beauty pageant. It's a sales event for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's kind of motivated or turned out to be. It's one of the greatest demonstration of political showmanship that you ever want to see. The more money you raise, the better shows you can have.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Mm-hmm.
course, then it moved to the place of in almost being somewhere between indignant to indecent.
Mm-hmm.
When you see somehow some of the politically raised money is used from American taxpayers to give someone an edge above the other, the opponent, their opponent. And I remember when I was a youngster, believe it or not, and John F. Kennedy was running for the White House. There were television advertisements in those days. Of course, TV was black and white. And But they demonstrated a film that they had showing his ability to care. And it was him jumping off the PT 109.
Mm-hmm.
The PT 109 basically became a very symbolic action of him that allowed him to seize the presidency. But it was one thing that I really respected because it didn't tear anybody down.
Mm-hmm.
It just spoke about what he could do. And what I see these days is that the the motivation in the political realm these days is to develop a spirit of giving the other opponent more disrespect
Mm-hmm.
towards their audience, as opposed to giving your audience more respect. Um,
I,
uh,
I see that as an interesting point because that leads me to this. So it is the fact that Trump is the president in light of everything that we know about him, everything he said, everything that has been done. Is that an indictment on him, or is it an indictment on the 70 plus million people that voted for him?
well, of course, um, this thing is not by one person.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about America for the most part. We're actually talking about the how should I say it? The best way to say it is we are talking about what you get and what you deserve when you, as an American citizen, don't take a real, truly active role in understanding what's happening in your country and your community.
Yeah.
Because then you're forced to, um, um, you know, buy whatever's being sold.
Mm-hmm.
you know. And unfortunately, this was a package that when you got it home, if it was when I was a kid, it was nothing worse than going and spending a little bit of change that you have and buying some Cracker Jacks, and they were little, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. It was
Mm-hmm.
popcorn, caramel popcorn, and the key was it was a prize.
Right.
Nothing worse than getting back home and finding out that you had been bilked and there was no prize in it.
Exactly. So listen, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue our discussion. But let me say, you don't have to explain to me what Cracker Jacks are. I'm not that young. I might have some in my drawer right now, as a matter of fact. But we're gonna go to break. You're listening to WDRB Media Commitments Radio. We'll be right back after this break.